LARITA BROWN.
Good afternoon, Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown, in 2015, were you a foster parent?
Yes, I was.
And how long have you been a foster parent?
15 years.
And what county are you a foster parent in?
Henry County.
And for those 15 years, have you always been a foster parent with Henry County?
I started in 2014 with Henry County.
And as a foster parent, did you have to go through any process and procedures to become a foster parent?
Yes.
And tell me about those procedures that you went through to become a foster parent.
I think it was 6 weeks. You had 6 weeks training. You had to go to CPR training. They have to do a background check on everybody in your family, drug screen. They have to do a home study. I think the lady would come out about 3 times before they can prove your home, even though I came from another state.
And were you a foster parent in another state?
Yes, I was.
Okay, what state is that?
Memphis, Tennessee.
And after you went through all the process, is that when you became certified as a foster parent?
Yes.
In your county?
Yes.
And did you have children placed in your home as a result of that?
Yes.
Over the course of your start, since you've been in Henry County since 2014, how many kids did you have placed in your home, if you can recall?
About 50, 60.
And if you could just explain the process in which a child would become placed into your home.
The process? They would, the caseworker or the, not caseworker, but whoever the CPS work or whatever, they'll just call and see if we, see if we have room or, will I be willing to take, certain kids. So it didn't matter race, color to me, so any child I check in.
And when you would get a call about taking the child, what would be the next process if you agreed to take that child?
They would bring them to the house or I go pick them up. And you go to the office and they're supposed to give you a letter saying they got sick. I have a letter showing that I have the guardianship over the child.
Were there other things that you had to do once you got that letter of guardianship, once the children are placed with you?
72 hours, we're supposed to take them to the doctor.
Anything else that you were required to do once the child came into your care?
Take care of them.
And when you would take them to the doctor, what method would you use in order to make payments if you had to make payments?
They have Medicaid.
And would you provide with that information?
Sometimes you don't get it right off, especially on weekends when you won't get it right off. But they will, on that sheet that they give you, the Medicaid number is on there and they birthday.
In 2015, did you have occasion to have 2 children by the name of Billy Place and Laila Daniel placed in your home?
Yes.
Do you recall when in 2015 that occurred?
April 17, 2015.
And can you explain to us the circumstances in which they got placed in your home? Talk about if someone dropped them off, picked them up. What happened that you knew that you would be getting Billy Place and Laila Daniel?
When I got there, I don't know what her position is. They were just telling me the grandmother couldn't keep the kids where she was living, and so they had to be put in foster care.
And did they give you any more information about the children, the background, and history at that time?
No, they didn't.
And did you go somewhere to pick up the girls, or were they dropped off to you?
I went to Henry County Defense.
And at the time, you said that was on April 17th of 2015. Were you assigned a caseworker at that time?
No.
At some point, did you have a caseworker assigned?
Yes, and I think that one quit, and then there was another one, Ms. White.
And when you have a caseworker assigned to your case, kind of explain what they would do, the caseworker that's assigned to the case.
Well, they supposed to give me more, like information about the child, and they'll make sure and within 72 hours, take them to the doctor and everything. But they're supposed to give me information on each child, so I would know, know something about the child. So.
Did you get that information on Billy Place or Laila Daniel?
Probably it was a Friday. Probably got it that Wednesday or Thursday.
And when you say information, what type of information did you receive?
That's the letter, the placement letter.
At any time did you meet Samantha White?
I met her. I got the kids in April. I only met her in May.
And where did you meet Ms. White?
She came to my house.
And when a caseworker comes to your house, what is the purpose of that? What is the process that occurs when a caseworker comes out to your house?
Any child 5 and under, we supposed to undress them so they can see their body or whatever, and they ask the kids questions and see how their body gets there and everything.
And I'm going to back up. On April the 17th, when you got Billy Place and Laila Daniel, did you examine them at all?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And why did you examine them?
I do that with all my kids to make sure they don't have any bumps and bruises on them when they come in.
And did you find any bumps and bruises on Billy or Laila on April 17th?
No, ma'am, not at all.
And you said about a month later in May, that's when Ms. White came.
Yes, when I started asking about the birth certificate.
And when Ms. White came out to your home, what happened?
She She just was asking us questions and talking to me and my family. She asked to see Millie and Layla. Layla stayed in my daughter's arms, so she didn't ask the room to close or nothing. She just, Layla would go there and Millie was staying with my other daughter. So she really just asked questions and then stayed on. She left.
Did she ever do an exam of Millie?
No.
What about Layla?
No.
And you indicated that you have 72 hours to take the girls to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And did you do that?
Yes, I took them to, I had makeup, well, I found out who their doctor was, but Millie told me the doctor's name. And I forgot who I had to ask somebody, I think I found asked one of the caseworkers, somebody else that's there, what doctor, can you look and see what doctor they went to, and showed up, it was that Dr. Potts. So I had to make an appointment with Dr. Potts before I could transfer them to, he was laying in pediatric, Dr. Leader.
And did you take them to Dr. Potts?
Yes, I did.
And when you went to Dr. Potts, did they have a checkup?
Yes, he checked them. I'm not mistaken, I think Millie had a cold. She had a cold and everything, so I just took both of them to be seen so I can make sure their shots and everything was updated.
And when you went to that visit, how did you pay for that doctor?
Maybe paid for it.
And did you provide a card or a number, or what did you provide in regards to that, if anything?
Well, the number was on that placement letter. I had to show them a placement letter before I can, to show how the guardianship go to even bring the children.
And then did you take them anywhere else after they arrived in your home?
Well, it was time to go again. I think it was like probably May or so. I had to take them to Dr. Lear because I think Layla was behind on shots or something. So I had to take them to Dr. Lear. Then I think Millie was on loan to the dentist because most dentists don't see children until they're 3 years old. So they did go to the dentist.
And how old was Layla when she came to you?
1,
And Millie was how old?
3, almost 4.
Besides taking them to Dr. Potts and Dr. Leader, did you take them anywhere else?
Talk about Dr. Wise?
Dr. Wise.
I think that's it.
Do you recall April 30th, 2015?
That's when they went to Dr. Potts.
And let me show you.
It's the 30th or 20th. And I did take it for a week appointment.
And where is that book appointment?
Henry County Health Department.
Do you recall what day that was?
That should have been like April the 29th, the 30th.
I'm showing you this in Mark States Exhibit 111 and 112. Do you recognize States 111 and 112?
Yes.
And what is that?
That's a week appointment. They, before they give the week voucher, the nurse will check the kids over and everything. So it's like they wait, they check the iron and, they weight, height, and see what kind of, like if she was lactose intolerant or something, she found what kind of milk she was on, but she was drinking regular milk.
And is that form, States 111 and 112, do you recognize those forms?
Yes.
And how are you able to recognize them?
I took it there and I filled it out.
And have you done that in the process of other foster
Yes.
kids? And the information that is provided in that form, who is that provided out?
The Henry County Week.
Do you fill it out yourself or are they
Yes.
filling it out for you?
No, I filled it out.
Okay. And who did you fill out those forms for?
See.
States number 111, who is that?
Millie, this is Layla. This is for Layla. This is for Millie.
And states number 112?
No,
Is
for Millie.
For Millie. I'd ask for states 111 and 112 be able to use evidence.
Committed states 111 and 112.
I'm sure. And if you can look behind you, Ms. Brown. On the top of the form, what type of information are they asking you about?
What kind of medicine they were taking?
And then I'm going to direct your attention to number 5. What is that section asking about?
How your child eats each food?
And do you check off the information that what she needs?
Yes.
Okay, and this was in regards to Layla Daniel, States 111. And then section number 6. What are they asking you about there?
What kind of milk she drank, water, and fruit juice?
Did you ever see you checked off, what did you check off? Fruit juice, water, and milk?
Yes.
When you say fruit juice, what type of juice would you give them?
She can drink fruit punch, orange juice, apple juice, grape juice. She didn't love juice.
When you would, in particular, when you would give her orange juice, did you ever notice did she have any reaction to that?
No.
Did you ever see her break out in hives or a rash at all?
No.
And I'm going to move down to section Number 14, what are they asking you about?
Let your child eat by a child care center or at school.
And what was your answer to that?
No,
And why did you answer no to that question?
because my daughter kept her.
Were the girls ever in daycare when they were with you?
The only one I tried to get in a preschool was Millie. She stayed for 2 days.
And why did she just stay for 2 days?
I wasn't doing enough work to get the caps. So my daughters kept her while I, doing Uber.
What daycare did she stay for 2 days?
I guess it's North Union Baptist. It's about Cotton Indian Elementary. So it's a church, but it's a school.
When you went there, did you have to do anything for her to be able to attend?
Yes, I had to fill out paperwork.
And did you fill out that paperwork?
Yes, I did.
Did you have to provide anything to North Henry Baptist?
I supposed to be training the birth certificate and social.
And were you able to provide those things to them?
No, because I was waiting on DFS to give it to me.
And you said something about no caps. If you can explain to us what that means.
But now they go ahead and give us caps, even if you're not working or not. But back then you had to be working to receive caps for the kids to be in daycare or preschool.
Did you, during the time that Layla was staying with you, you talked about having to take them to Dr. Potts and to Dr. Laird. Were there any other doctors or appointments that you took them to during the time that they were with you?
The only time I took Layla I had to take her to the clinic here on Hudson Bridge because her and my third oldest daughter had strep throat.
Do you recall when that was?
I think it was in May.
Besides the strep throat, did you ever have any issues with Layla as far as breathing?
No.
Did you ever notice or observe her like gasping for air during the time she was with you?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever notice her like holding her breath for long periods of time when she was with you?
When she cried, you know how the baby cries and hold it for a minute. So,
How were the girls when they stayed with you? Let's talk about Millie.
okay.
How was her behavior? Was she playful? Just tell me how she acted when she was with you.
When she first came, she was just being scared or whatever, and she cried for a minute until my oldest daughter comfort her, and she was fine. It's like after 10 minutes, you wouldn't even think, you would think she'd been there forever because she, bonded with the other kids and everything. So they was happy, always playful and very smart.
How was Millie's appetite?
Hers was she was a little picky eater. Certain things she liked to eat, and we'll make sure, we figure out what she liked, and then we'll make sure she eat.
And let's talk about Layla. How was she? What was her behavior like?
She's a sweetheart. She when we first got her, she blended in. She just, I'm at home. That's how she felt. And she's always cleaning to you and had you on your toes. Running after her, whatever. She laughing and giggling. And if I'm ready to leave out the house or whatever, and she's gonna ready to go, she's gonna drop whatever she's doing and try to run out the house behind me. So she loved to eat.
So how was her appetite?
She loved to eat. You could be sitting there eating, she don't eat, but if she sees something she likes, she's gonna try to grab and get it.
Did you ever have any problems with her eating at all?
No. It depends on what kind of food it is. She don't like it, she won't eat it, but I ain't have no problem.
When you talk about the girls being playful, did they ever play with one another?
Yes.
And during that time they were playing, did they ever cause any injuries to one another?
No.
Did you ever observe them fighting or anything in your home when they were together? Yeah.
Not those two. No.
Did you ever have an issue with Layla scratching or biting anyone during the time she was in your home that you recall?
It was just another little child about her age. They was playing, both of them were playing, so this wasn't nothing serious enough.
And during the time that the girl was with you, did you, were they in counseling at all? Or did counseling come to your home to see them?
No.
During the time that the girls were with you, did they ever get injured? Did they ever have any bumps or bruises or anything like that?
Layla, when I tell you she'll try to run out, she probably fell twice and scratched her knee, but nothing serious, just a little scratch. Millie was at the park, and then she walked on this log or whatever, and she fell and scraped her arm.
And what did you do when Millie fell and scraped her arm?
I took a picture of it and I tried to call Miss, tell Miss White about it, but she didn't answer. So Miss Warner came to my house at night to bring another child in, and I showed her. I say, been trying to contact Miss White to let her know that Millie hurt her arm at the park. So Miss Warner asked her that night, asked Millie what happened, and Millie told her.
And I will show you what's in Mark States number 113 shown to council. Do you recognize States 113?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is it?
That's when she had scraped her arm, and then we applied Neosporin on it.
I'd ask the state's exhibit 113 to be admitted into evidence.
Admitted. $3.
Can we get the lights? Whatever. And if you could just use this and show me where that injury is you were just talking about.
Right here.
Did that require her to have to go to the hospital or anything like that?
No,
Did she complain or anything like that after it happened?
no, she didn't cry. And Miss Warner just took pictures of it.
And you said you reached out to Ms. White
Yes.
about that incident. Were you able to reach Ms. White?
No.
And during the time that Millie and Layla were with you, about how many times did you speak with Ms. White?
I spoke to her that one time she came to the house, and most of the time it was text. You know, because I was trying to get, like I said, birth certificates and stuff for them, and I was trying to ask them more questions about the kids.
Were you able to ever get those answers that you to questions that you had about the kids?
No, I got it from a 3-year-old.
And you said you spoke, you would text Ms. White, would she respond back when you would text her?
Sometimes she'll respond back and say, well, I have to get it, I gotta get it from the Nana. The Nana haven't gave it to me. They didn't have Layla, she didn't have Layla's birth certificate and social, she only had Millie, but she got to figure out where it was, so it was like,
How would you describe your ability to communicate with Ms. White?
I couldn't.
When Layla was with you, was she potty trained at all?
I was probably training her.
At the time, did she wear panties, diapers, clothes when she was with you? Would that require you to have to change her at all?
Yes, if she, she asked me.
I'm going to show you what's in already admitted, states exhibit number 45. Particularly this area here, did you see that when Layla was living in your home at all? Yeah.
No,
When Layla was staying with you, did she, they didn't go to daycare?
no.
Did they ever have family members or visit with anyone during the time that they were with you?
The only visit they had, well, the Nana was visiting with Millie. And then they kind of had a visit for Millie's grandmother, Miss Elaine, and her father, Jacob, and I think it was, I don't know, it was Kat. One of them, they had a visit with.
I'm going to talk about Miss Peggy now. When would those visits be and how often did they occur?
Sometimes it was like once a week.
And where would they be in your home or somewhere else?
No, I had to meet her.
And where would you normally meet her?
Sometime at Sonic or Sonic or on Tango. Okay.
When you said you were here at the Sonic, how long would Billy stay with Miss Banks?
How about 2 hours?
Would Layla ever go with Miss Banks?
No.
Do you know why Layla didn't go with Miss Banks?
She said she couldn't handle both of them, or she couldn't deal with a baby.
And you indicated that Elaine and Jacob would visit with the girls. How often would they have visits with the girls? Let me back up. When Peggy would visit with Billy, when Billy came back, would you have issues with Billy?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
She told me that she couldn't watch no black people on TV. She told me she couldn't. I don't have to do what you say do, and when she'll just just act out. So I called Miss Elaine and her auntie on the phone, and they would get on the phone with her and calm her down, and then she'll come back and apologize. I'm sorry, Miss Brown.
Did you ever bring that issue to Miss Banks' attention, Miss Peggy Banks?
No, I told the caseworker.
And did that behavior continue at all after you told the caseworker?
It happened a couple more times until she had talked to her grandmother and her aunt.
And so then moving forward, you said she had some visits with Jacob Place and Elaine Place. About how many times did she visit with them or how often?
She had the one visit with Miss Elaine and her dad, and one of her other aunts wanted to try to be with her, visit them, because they visit with both of them, not just one. And they wanted to, the other aunt wanted to visit with them, and when I finally talked to Miss White on the phone, and I told her, I said, well, I can't remember which, it was Miss Elaine's daughter, I don't know if it was Kat or the other child, I can't remember their name right now. But when I mentioned that she wanted to do a visit with him, and she told me that there's nobody else going to have no visit with him, and I'm going to stop Miss Elaine and everybody else will visit. The only person they can visit with is Miss Katie.
And with that one visit that they did have with Mr. Place and Miss Elaine Place, where did that visit take place?
They let them go with them. So I met them at Ingles. and met them in Eagles, and they took both of the girls with them.
Well, how long did the girls stay there?
An hour.
When the girls came back to you from being with the places, did you examine them?
Yes.
Did you observe any injuries amongst the bruises on them?
No.
And what about Millie, when she would come back from Ms. Banks' house, Ms. Peggy Banks' house, would you examine her?
Yes. And I asked questions.
Did you ever observe any injuries, bruises, bumps, or scratches on Millie?
No.
Did she, I know you said an auntie was trying to visit with the girls. Did that auntie want you to have visitation?
No, but Ms. White said she was stopping everybody except the them from visiting.
Did you ever meet or have conversations with Jacob Place?
Yes.
And let me ask you, when you give the girls, do you know what a reunification plan is?
Yes.
As a foster parent?
Yes.
And what is that?
That means that, they're trying to get the parents to go through they step, the necessary step to get their children back in the home. Or they look for other family members that the kids can go to, they'll do background check and they'll check their home and everything, see if the place is suitable for the children.
To your knowledge, was there a reunification plan in place for Billy and Layla?
Not that I know of.
Were any of the family members trying to go through the process that you talked about, to your knowledge, in order to get to the girls?
Yes.
Who was that?
I know Elaine and Jacob was.
And how do you know that?
Because she was going, I know Jacob, he was, because we can talk to like the parents or whatever, and try to encourage them, to do right or whatever. And I know he had got a place, he had a room and everything, he had sent me pictures of it. And I know Miss Eli was trying to go through the parenting class, he even tried to go through the parenting class. But it's really stopped it all.
What about their mother, Tessa? Did you ever have any contact or communication with Tessa during the time that the girls were with you?
They finally said that the girls can talk to Tessa on Miss White and said that they can talk to her on the phone. So I was out of town, and I think it was like in May, because my daughter graduated in May. So we went to Arkansas, and I talked to, but Tessa called me, and that was the first time she ever heard Layla talk on the phone. So I got to talk to them on the phone and everything.
And outside of that one phone call, were there ever any other visits or conversations between Tessa and the girls?
No.
Did you ever meet Tessa?
I didn't meet Tessa until, I think it was, I was talking on the phone, so it was in Layla's wait.
At some point in time, did the Rosenbaum come into play?
Yes.
Tell me how that happened.
When I first met, I don't know what month it was. I'm guessing it was May, sometime in May after. I don't know what time of May. I can't think right now, but I had to meet her because Miss White said that she mentioned Jennifer and Joseph Rosenbaum is, could probably be a placement for the girls and everything.
Did you know Jennifer or Joseph Rosenbaum prior to that?
No.
After getting that information from his wife, what happened?
She set up the visit. She said it was a day visit. So I had to meet her at a Publix. I met her at Publix.
When you say her, who are you talking
Jennifer.
about?
Met Jennifer at Publix with the girls. Layla didn't really want to go, so we had to kind of calm her down to go.
Did you have any conversation with Jennifer Rosenbaum at that time?
Yes, she said that she said she wanted to get back. She said first of all, she said her and Tessa was in foster care together. She said they didn't get along at first, but they became friends. And she I guess she had found out that kids was in care, and she wanted to get back. So then she was like, well, I don't think I'm gonna be a good parent, and I had never did this before. And she told me her and her husband they couldn't have kids.
Did she tell you anything else at that time?
She was I know she had said, because I was telling how good she was saying how good Ariel was with with the girls or whatever. She said she was like, maybe she can come babysit, right now. And I told her, I said, well, just keep my phone number whenever you need me, or is anything wrong, you just call me.
How long was that first visit with the Rosenbaum? Let me ask you, was Joseph Rosenbaum there?
No, it was just her.
How long was that first visit?
I think it was an hour, 2 hours.
And when the girls came back to your home, what did you do?
Well, my daughter, she had asked me a question, how was everything? She'll get ready to get in my bath, so she'll check the body and make sure there were no bruises or nothing on no scratches.
When you met with Ms. Rosenbaum, did you give her any background history about the girls and their biological parents?
No, not at all.
Did you have any information about the girls?
That's why I said mostly, most of it I heard from Millie.
And to your knowledge, why were the girls in care?
To my knowledge, it was like the mom, I guess, was incarcerated, was on drugs. The daddy was, I know, when Anthony was locked up and everything, and think Jacob was on drugs. So most of them were telling me that, you know, the parents and stuff was on drugs.
Did you ever get any information about any type of physical abuse by the biological parents?
No.
At this point, who's having visitations with the girls? You said sometime in May.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is having visitations with the girls?
Only Nana was having a visit with Millie.
Did anything happen during that first visitation when they were with the Rosenbaums, to your knowledge?
Jennifer called because Layla was crying. She wouldn't stop crying. And so I had, she FaceTimed me and I saw niggas in the bathtub. And I was just telling her everything's gonna be all right, you'll be back home. And I told Jennifer to play Surfer Girl, because she loved listening to Surfer Girl. I said, just play that song, and, you know, and she'll calm down. But she calmed down.
Did you ever meet Joseph Rosenbaum at all?
Yes, he had to, when he had another visit, I met him at Subway, I met him with the girls.
And did you talk with him at that time?
We didn't say that much, and I was just, you know, speaking to him and stuff, but we didn't say a lot.
At some point, how long were Layla and Millie in your house?
From April 17th through June 11th.
And after they left your house, do you know where they went?
Yes.
Where did they go?
At first I had to meet at the defense office, and the caseworker didn't supposed to give the other foster parent, the caseworker didn't supposed to give the other foster parent the information, like where she lived and everything, and she did that. So I was in there talking to the supervisor and the director, trying to figure out, you know, why this was going on. And so she said, asked me what I was doing, and I'm like, well, Jennifer is outside with the kids so she can get their clothes. And she was like, why is she outside? I said, because she's supposed to be meeting the the other foster parent. She said that shouldn't happen. So she asked me would I be able to meet the other foster parent, Mrs. Lambert, at the Sonic with the kids.
Okay, and did you meet Miss Lambert at the time?
Yes, I did.
When you met Miss Lambert, did y'all talk at all, give her information about the kids, or had any conversation with her at all?
No, we didn't have a lot of conversation about, you know, about what happened. Nothing. All I know that I had to take, you know, the kids out of the car, and Layla was pulling on me, mama, you know, and so I told her, let me just put her in the car so she can calm down. So I put them in the car and just told her everything will be okay.
After that, did you ever have any more visits or contact with Millie and Layla?
Well, I had a visit, not visit. I was calling, Miss Lambert was letting me talk to him on the phone. And when I was talking to him on the phone, you know, asked him how they doing, whatever. I said it for like about a couple days. Then all of a sudden, Miss Lambert said that the caseworker said that you're not the biological mom and you don't have the right to call and talk to the kids anymore.
And so did your conversations and communications with the girls stop?
Yes.
Do you recall when that was?
Probably about June 13th.
After that time, did you have any more communications with any of the relatives of Millie and Layla?
Let's see, Miss Elaine.
And how often would you talk with Miss Elaine?
I was talking to her more because I was babysitting her grandson.
When did you become aware that Layla had died?
I was already feeling that something was wrong, so that's why I was trying to fight to get the girls back in my home, but I was told that they could be put back in there. And I think the day before, when they had happened or something, I got a text from their mom, Chessa, saying this is Chessa 911. This is really late mom. So I'm like, when I got up, I tried to call back, and I didn't get no answer then. Finally, one of the aunts answered the phone, and she said she'll get back to me. So later on that evening, that aunt, I think it was Kat, she called me back and said, well, I have bad news. And she said, Layla's gone.
During the time that after June the 13th, did you ever talk to or have visits with the girls when they were staying in the Rosenbaum?
No.
After you talked to Kat Daniel and found out about Layla's death, what did you do?
It just hurt me. No.
Did you see the family after Layla's death?
Not that day.
When did you see them?
At the wait.
And who did you speak to when you were there?
I talked to Tessa, Anthony, who else? It was most of the family. I don't know.
Did you ever speak to Millie after Layla's death?
Millie talked to me. She spoke to me. She didn't tell me anything, but she spoke to me. She mostly talked to my, she's 10 now, my daughter.
Was there ever a time when you spoke to Millie about what happened while she was in the Rosenbaum?
That was is it May the 24th of 2016? I think I saw it April 1st. Not April 1st, but April 16th, I think it was for 11, that Tuesday was. Her mom said she wanted to see me and my, see me and my girls, and we went over there. She didn't say nothing then, she played and, everything.
And you said that was in April of 2016?
2016, and then May the 24th is when I told, she wanted, her mom texted me again and say, Millie wanted to see you all again. So when I came over there, her and my daughter, so they could get water balloons, they want water balloons, whatever. And so she wanted to, I said, I would never let nothing happen to you all. And I said, I'm sorry that, you all had to leave and everything. So when I told her, I said, I would never happen to you, she laughed, well, Miss Brown, they need me in my belly. She said, we didn't do anything, and they put us in the bed a long period of time and whooped us with bills.
When she said that, who was she talking about?
She was talking about Jennifer and Joseph Rosenbaum.
And you said you went to their house. Who were they staying with at that time?
They had somebody that, I don't know who they were staying with, but they was, the transporter was bringing them to see Anthony and Tess.
And when Millie told you about being needed and something being beat with belts, who else was there with you?
It was Anthony, it was Tessa, and her, and one of my daughters.
Did you ask her any questions after that?
No, she was just talking. She was telling me that I was through already. When I started talking about her clothes and stuff her mama bought in her bedroom, I got on that stuff.
Nothing further this time.
Okay. Can we bring the lights back on?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Lynn Moore, and I have questions for you. If you don't understand, if I'm not talking loud enough, you just let me know.
Okay.
Okay? You talked about the girls not being with their mother, correct? They did not visit with their mother when they were with you.
No.
And when you went and visited them after the death of Layla, you went because Millie wanted you to come.
Not at the wake. This was like a year later. No, it was a year later.
A year later?
Yes.
So and Tessa called you, right?
She messaged me.
She messaged you and said she'd like you to come because Millie wants you to come.
Yes.
And that happened on 2 occasions.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it did.
And on those 2 occasions, you heard Millie say something to you, right?
Yes.
And did you write that down anywhere?
No, I have to write down.
Did you record it to defense?
No, because I wouldn't with defense anymore.
Now, isn't it true, Ms. Brown, that in fact, Millie accused you of keeping her in bed for a long time?
Defects accused me of keeping her in there.
Okay. And defects told you that Millie had said that, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay. And so, Millie had apparently said you would put her in bed for long periods of time. That wasn't true, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Okay. It was a lie, in fact.
Yes.
Okay.
But Millie didn't say that. It came from defects.
You don't know whether she said it or not.
Right, they just put it in there and came to me with it.
The defects came to you and said, Millie said this.
No, she didn't say Millie. She said the girls.
The girls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, only one girl was talking at the time, right?
They ain't had it. They said girls.
But there was only one girl talking at the time, right?
Well, I don't know. I hadn't talked to Layla in a long time, so I didn't know if she was talking or not.
When you had them, Layla was not talking, right?
Well, she was saying some words, so it's not like she was mute.
But she wasn't holding conversations with you.
Sometimes she was.
She was, okay. How old was she when she was holding these conversations?
She was a year old.
A year old.
Mm-hmm.
What did y'all talk about?
She can talk about, it's mostly like, she can be talking about what's on TV, or, or she'll try to tell me about one of the kids or something like that, or what she want to eat. Because we were teaching her sign language and everything, teaching her to tell us what she wants and stuff too. So she was learning.
She was learning with you.
Yes.
But it's fair to say that at 1 year old, they're not having conversations, not just asking words.
It's not a whole conversation, but she was talking.
Now, you had the children dropped off at your house by defects with just the clothes they had on, right?
I picked them up from defense.
Yes, you got them from defects.
Yes.
They didn't give you any documentation.
Not yet. They did have some, I think the Nana has sent some little crates with some little clothes in, so they did have some things in a little crate.
Okay. Now, you had them from April 27th through June 11th. Right?
April 17th, well, April 17th.
April 17th through June 11th.
Yes.
So you had them about a month, 2 months,
Yeah.
right? Is that correct?
Yes, that should be correct.
And how many children were in your home at this point in time?
being children, they've been, to my young children, they like
I'm talking
to,
about all the children in the house. How many children were in the house?
So-
People that were beneath the age of 18.
I believe, age 18. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4,
And how many foster kids were there?
2.
And there were 2 foster kids.
Yeah, there was 2 foster kids when they came in. And then the next month, they called me with another foster child.
So you had 4 of your own plus 2, right?
Well, let me say the 4, but you said under 18, so it would have been just my 2 youngest ones.
Okay.
And my 2 youngest ones, Millie and Layla. And then they called me that May with another 11-year-old.
So at one time, you had at least 4 foster kids at one time?
3.
3.
Mhm.
Okay. So you never had more than 3 at a time?
When the caseworker brought them out there for a respite or something, you know, I did.
Oh, so you had children come in for respite?
Yes,
So-
for like a night or 2 nights or whatever.
What's the most number of children you had when Millie and Layla were at your house?
Well, not 2, and then them that stayed with me for a minute, it was just 5 of them. But the one that the caseworker or the supervisor brought for that night, they'd be gone next day.
And how many were there?
It depends because, you know, they're not there every night. So I probably like, probably had probably like 6 kids in a home or whatever.
Okay. That would be the most you had was 6.
Mm-hmm.
Now, isn't it true, Ms. Brown, that during those 3 weeks, you learned 3 or 4 weeks that you had the children, more like a week and a half you had the children, you learned more about them through them, right?
Do Millie?
Yes. And during those 3 weeks, you noticed that Layla would hold her breath when she cries.
She didn't do it all the time. It just when she really upset. I think she did it probably about twice. She just, because I have a grandbaby do the same thing right now. Just cry a lot and hold it for me and that's it.
Did she hold her breath while she cried?
She didn't do it all the time. So twice.
She did it.
She did it twice.
Thank you. And she would stretch and bite, you said, when she did not know people, right?
No, it's not like that. It's like, only time she did, she scratched or bite somebody when she with another child her age or whatever. They just, sometimes you know how little kids don't get along and they just tussle with each other. That's
They're
it.
just tussling.
Yes.
Okay. And Millie would also tussle with kids, right?
No.
No, Millie would not tussle.
No.
So just Layla.
No, it ain't just like, it's just 2 babies playing. That's it.
Now, do you remember talking to Ann Tanner, my investigator?
I don't know who called me. I just, you know, people called me and so I just speak with the people that I had already talked to. So I don't know her from
You
nobody.
don't remember talking to her?
I don't remember.
Now, Miss Banks did not take Layla, right?
No.
But she took Millie.
Yes.
And when Millie came back to her house, she didn't want to watch TV with black people in it,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't want to mind you, did she?
No.
And she told you that Miss Banks told her she didn't have to mind you.
Right.
Now, what about Miss Banks? Did she buy things for Millie?
Yes.
Did she buy things for Layla?
No.
What kind of things did she buy for Millie?
Probably like a little doll and some other toys. I can't remember.
Now, the entire time the girls were with you, for the entire time they were with you, when Mr. and Mrs. Rosenbaum took the kids, they came back without any bruises or broken bones, correct?
No, we didn't see any.
Huh?
No, we didn't see any.
You didn't see it?
No.
No bruises or broken bones?
No.
Okay. Now, no cuts, no abrasions,
Nothing at all.
nothing at all. Now, isn't it true that you and Jennifer would FaceTime after she had the kids?
No, I didn't FaceTime.
You didn't FaceTime them?
No, I only FaceTime when she had the kids at the house. When I was doing the visit, when she was doing the visit.
But she had the kids and you weren't there, so she FaceTimed you.
Only that one time when she had to visit with the kids.
Now, when you went to defects the first time, you talked to defects, you spoke to Miss Hicks King. Do you remember telling her that Miss Banks did not want Layla, just Millie?
I don't remember the king.
You don't remember Miss King?
No.
Okay.
You said when I
Do
went
you
to defect.
remember, I'm sorry?
You said when I went to defect, but I don't know Miss King.
Okay. Do you remember telling a defects worker that Peggy Banks did not like Layla?
No, I didn't say that.
You didn't say that?
No. I said she didn't want to keep her because she said she couldn't take care of both of them.
Ooh. But she called Layla a drug baby, didn't she?
When we was at the courthouse, when she first saw them, she said she was on, her mom's on drugs with her, so she, probably have drugs in the system and all that.
So the answer is yes.
Yes.
You also, on one occasion, sang to Millie, to Layla on the phone, didn't you? You
Yes.
sang with
No.
her.
Yes. Well, we didn't sing. So I think we played that Surfer Girl.
Okay. You didn't sing?
Oh, my daughter singing.
Okay. And so this was when Jennifer called you because Layla was crying a lot.
Yes.
And that happened to you as well. She would cry a lot.
Not me.
Never cried to you.
She babies cry. I'm not. She don't cry a lot. She cried because she wanted to get something, or she couldn't go with me or something like that. But she ain't cry. She wasn't a crybaby.
But when she cried, Miss Jennifer called you and you put the music on for her, and that calmed her
I
down.
think my daughter had played me before. I just can't remember. It's been a minute.
Isn't it true that she did, in fact, at your house the first day, cry uncontrollably?
Who?
Layla.
No, it wasn't Layla crying.
Okay. And Millie, you say was crying.
Millie was crying.
And she said she wasn't used to looking with black people.
Yes. And my daughter comforted her, and like I said, within 10 minutes, she was. It was like she looked like she didn't cry at all. So
Because y'all were very loving and kind.
that's right.
Now, let me show you. Now, we talked about Millie accusing you of putting her in bed for long periods of time, and we established that that was not true, correct?
That's not true. They met with the state too. They I don't know what the word is, but they threw that out.
Okay. But you also have been accused of whipping a child at 6 strikes, haven't you?
Objection, Your Honor, Rosenbaum.
It was those two credibility wrong.
As to this case, how's it going to another child?
Sustained objection.
Because, well, it was a false accusation, so it was the other false accusation was made.
The objection is sustained.
Let me show you what's been marked as Exhibit 73 and 76, and ask you if you recognize these figures. Yes, and the ones I already showed. The one that take a look, if you would, at pictures, those pictures, and see if you can identify them.
I don't know about this picture on the right, but this is Layla and my daughter.
And the other one you don't recognize. Do you recognize the people in it?
I recognize people,
Who
but
is it? Who is it?
that's Millie and Layla. But I ain't had no curtains and stuff like this, so that's not my house.
It's not your house,
No.
but it's really Layla.
Yeah, this is my daughter and Layla.
Oh.
I don't have curtains.
This time when I attended number 73 was corrected and asked to publish.
The objection.
No, he said no.
Admitted.
You can turn that. Is that your daughter on the right?
Yes.
And is that Layla on the left?
Yes.
Do you know about when that picture was taken?
No, I couldn't tell you. We take so many pictures.
Thank you. Defendant's Exhibit 77 and Defendant's Exhibit 75. Ask you to identify those pictures if you can.
This is the middle of this picture. And this is Layla. Who it is. And Layla like put no bandages, so there wasn't nothing wrong with her knee. She just wanted bandage
She
for her.
just liked to put on bandages.
Yes.
At this time, I would tender into evidence page 7, Exhibit 75 and 77.
The objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Admitted to class of the set.
This is a picture of Layla as you remember her.
Yes.
It was taken near your house,
That was in my yard.
in your yard. Let me show you this picture. Who is that a picture of?
That's Layla.
Okay. And who's beside her, you know?
Just another child. I was in the room cleaning up, so both of them fell asleep right there from bed.
Thank you. But you say she liked to put on bandages.
Yes. And you might,
Anywhere she
you were so on her forehead, so but you take it off, there's no cut, no bruise or nothing. So one day,
put them around her as well.
yes. We even bought one with the cartoon on it, but she liked putting them on.
Yes. And I'm going to show you. Do you recall, let me show you first, defendants 78, 79. Show you pictures 78 and 79. Tell me what those are.
This is a picture, I guess my daughter, my friend's daughter took, and she was in there, I don't know what she probably doing, they took the picture. And that's what she expected me at when she was running outside. This one right here, she was sitting in a high chair, and that's not a scratch on her arm, that's food, but she just got to eat or whatever, but she was in a high chair.
This time around, I tender into evidence 78 through 79.
The objection.
No objection.
Admitted.
No published.
Good published.
Was this picture taken in your house?
Yeah, so that's the house.
Okay. And how old was Layla at that time?
She was 1. And the picture wasn't taken February 8th, it was just,
Just posted February
Yes.
8th, right?
and my friend's daughter, she took a picture of it too, so.
Now, what, is she sitting on the potty here?
No,
or
it's a high chair.
Just a high chair?
Yes.
And,
She had just got to eating and stuff, so they took the little tray off because it needed to be clean because she had food everywhere.
and she's holding the belt to the chair, is that right?
I don't know what that is. I really don't know what it is.
But she's naked.
Yes, she is.
Naked. Do you recall the date of June 3rd? Do you remember June 3rd, 2015?
No.
Was that the date when Rosenbaum came to visit for the first time?
I don't remember what they visit. But they didn't come to my house to visit. I met her
You met her, where did you meet her?
at a Publix on East Elana Road.
And let me show you what I marked as Exhibit 71. Can you identify that picture?
No, it's not my picture.
I'm not saying it's your picture, I'm saying can you identify it? Is that Millie in the back or Layla in the back?
That's Millie in there.
Okay. And who's in the front?
I don't know. I don't know who picture this is. I've never seen a picture
You've
before.
never seen this person before?
No.
It's in the picture?
No.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, I'd like to tender the defendant's Exhibit 71 in is a picture of Millie in the car.
No objection.
I'd ask to publish it.
Published.
Okay, now, Millie, can you show us where Millie is in that picture? Can you point to the other person? I know I'm asking you, can you point to them though? You don't know that person. You've never seen that person.
I don't know the person.
Have you seen that person at any time? Okay. Do you remember, the time that Tessa put Millie on the phone to talk to you? Do you remember there was an occasion where Tessa put her on the phone?
No.
You don't recall such time?
No.
No. What are the questions?
Okay, thank you.
You said, I think one of the pictures. In defense number 79, you said, Layla had just finished eating.
Yes,
How, when she would eat, what kind of eater was she?
she eat.
And you talked about the tray. How would the tray look after she's eating?
You know, some, you know, if you have some pudding or something, they probably have smeared some pudding or something on there or whatever. But she don't eat all the food off the tray.
Would you have to clean that tray after she's eating?
Yeah, you have to clean off the, you know, she can, waste some milk or some juice or, like I said, the pudding or something, you have to clean the tray up. But the plate, her food be gone.
Her food be gone?
Yes.
And the tray, how would you describe the tray as being after she finishes eating?
And sometimes she want more, like,
Not a plate, the tray.
the tray, well, you know, let's say it's not, you know how babies are. They probably, if you got some pudding or something, they probably put some on the pan in there or something like that. She didn't do that often.
And you said something about spilling juice.
Yeah, she probably knocked, you know how you probably knock the juice over or whatever. It's in the cup.
After she would eat, would you have to clean off her tray?
Yeah, you clean up. Not the plate, it's
Not
just the
plate,
tray.
the tray.
Yes, the
Yes,
tray.
the tray. And you indicated that she would put, I think, on defense number 77. And you said that she would like to put bandages.
But I'm thinking that bandage probably was the one where she stretched her knee, but she do like getting the bandage because my daughter had specifically bought some, since she liked to put them on, she bought some with little carrots on it. Sometimes she'll get it and she'll ask her to put one on and it don't be nothing there. But I think this particular time, that's the one where she stretched her knee.
But she liked to put on bandages.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Ms. Moll asked you about, Millie stated that you had made her go to bed, or put her in the bed for a long time.
This is what defense told me when I went in July. It was like July, and they said that when they talked to the girls, they said I put them in bed a long period of time. I said we never put them in bed a long period of time. They always ate. I don't care if they sleep, we gonna wake them up and make sure they eat. So they never was put. I said why would I said do you think she's trying to tell you something because we never put them in bed that long without eating.
Did they tell you that Millie said that you had neither of them summons?
Oh no, Billy told me that.
The defects, did they come to you and say Millie told them that you need her in her
No,
summons?
they never told me that.
Did they come and tell you that Millie said that you whipped her with a belt?
No, she never told me that either.
You said that Millie told you that she had been needing a son.
Yes,
By who?
by Joseph Rosenbaum and Jennifer Rosenbaum.
What about Layla? Did she tell you what would happen to Layla?
She really didn't just tell me. She just said us. She didn't say just later. She just said us.
So when she talked about being beaten with the belt, she said we were beaten with the belt.
Yeah, she said we didn't do anything.
Yes.
Yeah, she said we didn't do anything. They beat us with the belt. They put us on the belt and they need us in our belly and put us in bed a long period of time without eating.
Nothing.
And the mother was standing there when they said that.
The mother and the father of Layla and the mother.
And you were called there to come.
Because yes, Millie wanted to talk to me.
Okay, that's what Tessa said to you.
Yeah, she said Millie really wanted to talk to me.
And you're a member of Justice for Layla, aren't you?
No,
You don't go on that website?
I went on there like the first time it came, but I don't even be on Facebook. I don't be on Facebook.
So it's your testimony that, and I just want to be very clear here, because this is that you've only been on it one time, correct?
I've been on one time, and I think you had posted something on there. Somebody posted some stuff on there about me up in there. Somebody had told me about it. I don't know who told me, and I went in there and read some stuff about me, like about Mr. Brown. I'm like, who is Mr. Brown? Because I'm not married. And there was more stuff on that page. And I don't think it was on that one. It was on the Justice for Jennifer or something, but it wasn't on that one. That's why I looked at it. But I stopped even looking at it because I'm busy taking care of my family and other kids that I have to take care of.
Were you on the Justice for Layla site more than once?
No.
Just once?
Just once.
Okay. And you are not a member of Justice for...
My name is probably still there, but I don't go there. So I hadn't been on
Okay,
there.
so you're listed as a member of justice.
I really don't know.
So it's possible.
It could be possible, but I haven't been on there.
Now, who did you tell besides these folks that Millie said she was knee in the stomach and that when Millie said it to you, she said, we were knee in the
I
stomach?
didn't tell nobody. The only person that was in there is her mom and her dad and my daughter that was standing right there when she said it.
And this would have been after the death of Layla.
Yes, that was a year.
And you never called police and told them that, did you?
No.
You never called DFACS and told them that, did you?
No, I didn't talk to nobody defense.
You didn't talk to anybody about that.
Like I said, I was just right in there with her parents when she said it.
So the only people you talked to it about it was her parents, because they were there.
And the detective.
You did tell the detective.
Yeah, because when they had me to come in, after she died, I think I was just leaving her funeral, and I had to go down into the, whatever, the police station, and I had to tell my statements.
So you gave them a statement the day of the funeral.
Yes,
You gave them a statement the day of the funeral, and on that statement, you told them that,
no, I told them that afterwards. Because the day of the funeral, they just come to ask me a question about the, about if she had any birthmarks or anything. That's what they were asking about. But,
Even if you think you know what the question's going to be, let her finish.
okay.
Okay.
the day of the funeral,
Mhm.
did you give a written statement to the police?
To the detectives. I think it was the
The
detectives.
detectives work for the police, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you gave a statement to the police.
Yes.
In that statement, on the day of the funeral, did you say anything about being knee?
No.
Yes or no? And then you
No.
explained. Okay. Afterwards, a year after the death of the child, did you give another written statement?
It wasn't a written statement. God was
That's
talking.
no.
I was talking. You know what? I'm going to take it back. I did go back up in there, and I told them.
Okay, so you went up and gave another written statement.
Yes.
Do you know the date of that written statement?
No.
So total, how many statements have you given?
I was two. And they had me to, I think it was two.
Now, show you this photograph, which is Defendant's Exhibit 78. And on what leg are the scratches?
No. I don't know if it's, I don't know. I don't know that's probably on the right.
On the right.
Yeah. Because I didn't take that picture. That's not my picture.
But you can see that picture, can't you?
Yeah. I don't really see nothing on her.
You don't see any scratches on her right knee.
Look at straight. Was she a veil? I told you a veil, yes.
Yeah. So that's where she fell and hurt herself.
Right.
Okay. Now, her bandage, what knee is that on?
That's on left. That's why I said she probably put those, she liked the bandages on.
And you told me, didn't you? When I asked you that it was because she had hurt herself on her
She
leg.
just fell and scratched her knee. No open wounds or nothing.
Now, you only talked about 2 visits with the Rosenbaums. The Rosenbaums visited on June 3rd, June 4th, June 11th, June 7th, and June 11th, correct?
It's a possibility.
So you were mistaken before.
I couldn't remember all dates. I didn't just say two.
Now, isn't it true that Ms. Lambert never let you talk to the children?
She let me talk to them after they left. I mean, and everything. I talked to them on the phone. And then the caseworker, she said that the caseworker said I couldn't talk to them anymore because I'm not about to smoke. So they stopped me being able to talk to the children.
And you're saying that you were able to talk to them once?
I think it was twice. I was able to talk to them twice.
And Ms. Lambert would know about that?
Yeah, she called.
She called you?
Huh?
Okay.
She called me, or I didn't call. I think the second time I called them.
I have nothing for you.
Nothing but Mr. Judy.
Just want to step on with that. Is there a loss? You're going to help me with the last folks. I don't know if we're going to need them on or need them off. Prefer to have them on or off. At all. Okay, is there anything you see? Who's next?
State conversation, over.
Hold on, I'm gonna go down. Thank you.
Right here, respect to that date all the way through the next.
Please raise your hand. Your right hand. You swear or affirm this testimony you're about to give you the truth and the whole truth so help you God.
Yes.
Please lower your hand and state your true and correct legal name, and then you can spell.
Nastasia Colbert, Nastassja Colbert.
Good afternoon, Ms. Cole. Do you, first off, who's your mother?
Miss Brown, Maria Brown.
And did you live with your mom back in 2015?
Yes.
And were you, at some point, did you place where you were being come to live?
Yes.
And around, how old were you during that time?
18.
And when the girls would stay there, who would care for them?
Me, my sister,
And care for them, what type of things would you do for them?
I help cook for them, feed them, bathe them, put them to bed, take them to the park, stuff like that. Simple stuff.
At the time that they were staying with you guys, was Layla able to walk?
Yes.
And was she potty trained?
No. She's working on it.
Were there other things that you were working on with Layla while she was with you guys?
Teaching her words in simple sign language, like the basics. Eating with forks and spoons. Potty training. That's pretty much it. Oh, and have a bath herself.
I'm sorry.
Have a bath herself on her own.
Did you have to change her as well?
Yes.
And you said that feeding, what type of appetite did Layla have?
A big one. She was greedy, loved junk food, loved real food, fruits, vegetables, more junk food. Her favorite was powdered donuts.
When you would change her or bathe her, did you ever notice any marks or bruises on her at all?
No,
Did you notice any birthmarks at all?
I don't think she had any.
And you said that you were teaching her simple sign language.
Yes.
What types of things were you teaching her?
More milk, cookie, eat, hungry, thank you.
What's the sign
Simple
for
right now.
What's the sign for hungry?
Just do this.
I'm sorry.
This is hungry.
And what's the sign for eat? And was she able to do those signs?
Not really.
Did she ever do any of the signs that you taught her?
She attempted. Like, they weren't perfect, they weren't spot on, but she would say what she wanted as she was signing.
During the time that they would stay there with you, would you take photographs and videos?
Always. Always took photos, videos, everything.
Show you what's in Martin State's exhibit 114, 15, and 116, and 117. Look at those. And let me look at those.
Yes.
And what are they?
This one is a picture of me and Layla at the doctor's office. She had to get her shots.
And you say this one got States 114, and States 115 and 116. Are these all photographs that you took?
Yes.
And do they accurately depict what you were seeing that day?
Yes.
And States number 117, you read it.
Yes.
And what is that?
That is the CD that I was showing.
And did you when you saw that CD, did you recognize that CD?
Yes.
And what was it a CD of?
A video of it went outside.
Okay. And who recorded that?
I did.
Okay. And have there been any changes or deletions to that video? I'd ask the State's exhibit 114, 115, 116, 117 be admitted into evidence.
They do.
Showing you what's been marked in States. States 114. Where were you late at the time?
At Dr. Lear's office.
At whose office?
Dr. Lear.
In States 150, what's the difference in States 150?
It was just a collage of different pictures. They were taken on different days, but each one of them are Layla.
Let's start with the one furthest to your good right. What is that from?
She was sitting in her high chair. She had just finished eating
And the next photograph?
in the bathtub
And the next?
at the doctor's office.
And the final one?
And that's us in the bathroom playing the mirror.
And finally, States 116. What's the picture in that?
That's me, Millie, and Layla in the bathroom playing the mirror as usual, taking pictures.
Do you recall when that picture was taken?
I don't remember the exact date, but I do remember taking it.
Was it during the time period of April and June when this lady was staying with you guys?
Mm-hmm.
that the video that you took away?
Yes, sir.
No further questions.
Here's my assistant.
The lights.
Please hold on. That will be screen that, if I talk to you, so fast, is able, she never was able to actually do the sidelines.
Not perfectly, but she could stay.
She could do something. And this, moving your hand up and down your chest means what?
Hungry.
Hungry, up and down your chest. I'd like to.
Anything else?
Nothing to say wrong.
Any objections? Any excuses?
Nothing to say wrong.
All standard excuses. City calls it.
City Hall is Chinze Onipo.
Chinze.
Onipo, yes.
Please have respect. Please, ma'am.
And you can raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Raise your hand now, please. I say your full name for the record.
Chinese Victor,
And can you spell that for the court?
Chineze. My last name is Odikvigo.
And then how are you currently employed?
With Henry County Defense.
And what is your job at Henry County Defense?
I'm the adoption worker this side.
And how long have you been in an adoption or adoption case manager?
For the past 2 years,
And prior to that, what was your role at Henry County Defense?
I used to be a research development case worker.
How long have you been with Henry County Defense altogether?
11 years and 5 months.
And in 2015, what was your job description in 2015?
Research development worker.
And what does, can you explain to ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that means?
My job as a research development worker is to approve foster homes or relative homes to place children that are in care with them or adoptive families.
So you, I'm understanding you essentially go through the process of approving homes for foster placement, is that correct?
Yes.
What are some of the things that DFACS considers when they consider a home for proper foster placement?
You have to go through the orientation process. During the orientation, we talk about the things that is needed to be a foster parent. And then you go through impact. After the orientation, once we agree that you will move on, then you will go through the impact class. Then after the impact class, we will come to your home, write up the home study, and approve your home.
And so just so I'm clear, the orientation class is first, is that correct?
Yes.
What occurs right after the orientation class?
We, after the orientation classes, we pull information, and then we go through CPS. You will do fingerprint. We will review your CPS history, Child Protective Service history, to make sure that either you're receiving Medicaid or food stamp, or if you have been in care before, or if there's a child that's being in care that is removed from your home.
And so this is kind of the background check that you do on prospective foster parents?
Yes, before we can move forward to the next stage.
And is this done on every, is this supposed to be done on every prospective foster placement?
Yes.
And you also mentioned an impact class. What do you mean by impact class?
Impact is information, is a class that the foster parents attend for a period of 6 to 7 weeks, 12 weeks. During that period, we discuss the trauma that the children that are in care have gone through before they came into care, so that the families will be aware of what of the needs of the children that's going to be placed in their home.
And is this a requirement for all foster placements?
Yes,
Are you familiar with the term fictive kin?
yes.
What does the term fictive kin mean?
The term fictive kin is a family member or a friend or teacher who is familiar with the child that is in care. And we may want to work with the family to place the child with them because that's a familiar, someone that the child knows.
Okay. So it's someone the child knows, perhaps not actually family, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. Are people who are designated as fictive kin placement also required to complete the impact class?
yes,
So the way it's supposed to work, you're supposed to complete all of those things before a child is placed, is that correct?
yes,
All right. Are you familiar with the person by the name of Joseph Rosenbaum?
yes.
Did you know Ms. Rosenbaum by any other name?
Michelle Holcomb?
Did you know her as Ms. Holcomb as well?
Yes.
Okay. And how are you familiar with Ms. Rosenbaum?
Ms. Rosenbaum attended one of our orientations.
Do you remember what year she attended one of your orientations?
One of them between 2014 and 2015.
Okay. And when she attended that orientation, what name did she use?
She used, one of them is Jennifer Rosenbaum, the other one is Jennifer Holcomb.
Are you familiar with Holcomb, her maiden name?
Yes,
Now, are prospective foster parents, are they required to provide any sort of identifying information to GFACS so that you can run this background check?
yes.
And did Ms. Holcomb, now known as Ms. Rosenbaum, did she provide that information?
Yes, she did.
And when she did, what did you do with that information?
I ran the CPS screening. That is the first thing we're supposed to do. And when I pulled the screening, she has a lot of CPS history.
Okay. And did that CPS history, did that automatically deny her from becoming a foster parent?
No, we have to review the CPS history before we can deny it.
So it's my understanding that you just want to do some more research, correct?
Yes,
Did you explain that to Ms. Rosenbaum?
yes.
What happened with the foster application in that year?
It was eventually denied.
Now, you mentioned that you had a second application from Ms. Rosenbaum. Do you recall what year that was?
Around 2015,
Okay. And what name was used in that application?
Jennifer Holcomb.
Was it? Are you sure it was Ms. Holcomb at that point?
One of them is Rosenbaum, one of them is Holcomb.
Okay. Did she apply with anyone else at that particular time?
She applied with her husband.
And that would be Joseph Rosenbaum?
Yes.
Now, before we discuss some of the different designations of foster parents versus fictive kin, how did they apply this particular time?
They applied to be a foster parent.
And so what requirements would they have had to do to become a foster parent?
Foster parents of fictive kin have to go through the same process. There's no if about it.
And were there specific children that they were attempting to foster?
Yes,
And that Millie Place and Layla Daniel?
yes,
So the first step is the orientation, correct?
yes.
Did they do that orientation?
They did the orientation.
And did both of them attend the orientation?
Yes,
Do you remember both of them being at the orientation?
yes.
What did you do after the orientation process?
We pulled the CPS history.
Okay. And what happened when you pulled the CPS?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our afternoon break this time. I'm going to give you 20-minute break since there is some additional work with the attorneys that I need to do in your absence.
Where we would get into next is that they're going into the background check. She put in her social security and date of birth. She printed out the information, but she actually never even had a chance to review it. And I think that's important because she doesn't really know what's in the history because she never had a chance to review it. She then gets a call from Ms. Rosenbaum asking her why everything was moving so slow. She stated that there's lots to review. She needs to review her defects history because there is one. And then Ms. Rosenbaum got very upset, stated things like, you don't know me, I used to be a friend's house, I know everything in Henry County, I worked at the DA's office and I was in the military, and she hung up on me something about it. What happens later on is that there is, at some point, there's some sort of intervention or emails or something that's sent from the Henry County Juvenile Court judge asking what's going on. And the full vetting of the Rosenbaums was never done. They never did that impact class, that 12-week class that they were supposed to do. Essentially, it was kind of approved, and all of a sudden the kids were placed with them. And I think that's important to show kind of how the children ended up in her care. And then they didn't actually go through the full process that they were supposed to go through regarding how to get these children dealing with things like the trauma that they have already experienced in their life, how to properly deal with that within the home when you're getting children who may come from a traumatic background.
My objection has to do with the introduction of character evidence by the word history. It suggests she has a history of something. And to go on further than what they've done so far is likely to leave the impression of the jury that she has some sort of negative history, as opposed to the fact that she was a foster child herself, and therefore she has a history, and therefore it has to be investigated further.
I can go on cross-examination. I see nothing wrong with what you said under these circumstances.
My only concern with doing that is, say, might say we open the door to bringing in character evidence, and I just don't want to take that risk.
Sometimes I can leave her and specifically say that, because I know she will say that I asked her, anyone with a defect history, whether they were in defects for 5 minutes or 5 years, their protocol is they want to review that before they move on to the next stage to make sure that any issues dealt with. And I can lead her through that to make sure we go awry.
I'm not sure that we're 100% communicating. It sounds to me as though she just wants the jury to understand that history of defects is not necessarily a negative thing. The fact that she's a foster child herself can trigger the use of the term history. And so I think you can get through that by way of cross-examination. And I don't see that this is a character evidence issue. And I think that the jury can arrive at the right place. So I'm going to allow it. And subject to an objection. And certainly allow you to deal with that issue during cross-examination in a way that you deem appropriate.
I just would ask if Mr. Chase to make that clear, what we just talked about, then there won't be any need for me to risk her coming in and saying what was the history that she found out. It was other than just that she was foster parent.
I'm completely fine. I'll ask her, a history, but we're talking about the fact that the person was previously a foster parent.
Perfect. Thank you both. Let's take our break.
Application. I think we left off with you were running the background and you got you put in the social security number and date of birth. Is that correct?
Yes.
And from that you got a defects history associated with Jennifer Rosenbaum. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, anyone who is in, who's ever been in DFACS custody has a DFACS history. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so is it protocol for whenever there is a DFACS history that whatever it is, it has to be reviewed?
Yes.
Okay. And at any point, did you receive a call from Jennifer Rosenbaum?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And at that point, had you had an opportunity to review any of the DFACS history?
No.
And when Ms. Rosenbaum called you, what did she say when she called you?
She wanted to know why it's taking long to send her letter to come to attend impact class.
Okay. And what was her demeanor on the phone with you?
It wasn't very nice.
And so you say that she wasn't very nice, correct?
Yes.
Did you explain to her though that you were still in the process of reviewing the application?
Yes.
Okay. And what did she say to you?
She said that I don't know who she that I don't know who she is. She used to be at a friend's house, and I said, well, I need to review the case. I need to review your the history before we can make any determination on this. And then she went ahead to tell me that she worked at the DA's office, that she knows everybody there. So I don't know who I am really dealing with. So when she finished, she hung up the phone.
So she hung up the phone on you?
Yes.
All right. The next time that you heard about Jennifer Rosenbaum, is it safe to say that the children were being placed with the Rosenbaums at that point?
Yes.
Did you approve that placement?
No.
And was it your job at the Henry County DFACS to approve the foster placement and fictive kin placements?
Yes, sir.
Did did Jennifer and Joseph complete the requirements, and more specifically, I'm talking about that impact class that we talked about?
Not to my knowledge.
Did anyone else even teach that class besides you at that point?
In Henry County, I'm the only one that teaches the class.
And they did not attend that class, correct?
No.
And you said it was a 12-week class?
Yes.
All right. You would remember them, correct?
Yes.
All right. To your knowledge, the home study was not completed, correct?
No.
All right. Not one that at least came to your attention, correct?
No.
All right. So it's safe to say they didn't go through all the normal channels to get the kids placed in their home, correct?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Just briefly, Ms. Nicole.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Corinne Mull. If I don't speak loud enough, let me know.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just a little confused. There were two applications, one in 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
Where she applied in her maiden name,
Yes, ma'am.
and one in 2015.
Yes, ma'am.
Where it was both Joseph and her.
Yes, ma'am.
And in 2014 is the one where you checked and found out that she had been in foster care, correct?
Yes.
And that you needed to look into the foster care some more.
Yes.
In 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was in 2014 that she called you and said, what's going on? Why is it taking so long?
2015.
2015.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's your testimony here today that there was never a home study done on their house.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. And it's possible, isn't it, that you just wouldn't know about it if there was one?
Yes. I would know. If
You
there's-
would know?
Yes, I would.
Okay. So if there is one and you don't know about it, what does that mean?
That's all the foster homes go through me.
Okay.
So I approve them and I monitor them.
Okay. And so you have not approved or monitored these folks?
No.
So somebody else in DFACS has been monitoring these folks, correct?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so to your knowledge, they were not under DFACS supervision?
Your Honor, let me explain how this goes. If your home is approved as a foster home, you have a DFACS worker that comes to your home quarterly to make sure that your home is in good standing to continue to be a foster home. If the children are placed in your home as a foster parent, there have to be a case worker that comes to your home every month to monitor the kids.
Now, was there a caseworker going to their home?
Your Honor,
This is Your Honor is up front. I'm just Kareem Rowe.
sorry, Miss Kareem. As at that time, I should believe there is a caseworker that's monitoring the kids. Because their home is not approved as a foster home, I am not aware of how they got the kids.
Okay. So, if there was a home study, you don't know about it, correct?
There's no home study.
Okay. If there was but if there was one, you don't know about it, correct?
I should know about it.
I understand you should know about it. We all understand that. But you don't know about it, correct?
I don't know. There's no home study.
Now, you were saying that in 2015, she called about why it was taking so long?
Yes.
But in 2015, you say that you did not, that application did not go forward, did it?
It went through, but we haven't reviewed the history.
Okay. So in 2014, you didn't review the fact that her foster care history, and 2015, you didn't review her foster care history.
Then we started the process, and then it fizzled out.
I just asked if you could answer yes or no and then explain to your heart's content, okay? 2014, it fizzled out, right?
Yes.
It was not denied, it just fizzled out.
Yes.
And she didn't call you, according to you.
Yes.
She called you in 2015.
Yes.
That's according to you.
Yes.
So we understand each other. And you're saying that she called you because it wasn't going fast.
Yes.
And your testimony here today is that application didn't go through either, 2015.
2015, the application is in the process of going through, but I don't know what happened. The next thing I had, they got the children. So, I don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Dicko.
Mr. Dicko, is it safe to say that in 2015, the application didn't go through the normal process?
Yes, it didn't go through the normal process.
Okay. And if there was a home study, it did not come through you?
No.
Okay. And it should have, correct?
Yes.
Nothing further.
And isn't it true, Mr. Dicko, that fictive kin are treated differently than regular foster parents?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dicko.
Anything else?
Not from the state.
Thank you. Accept that. Any objection to this witness being excused?
Not from the state.
From the defense? All right, she's excused. Okay, the state will call its next witness.
State will call Patricia Lambert.
Patricia Lambert.
If you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth and the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Please lower your hand. If you could slide up to the mic a little bit. You can put your hand down. Please state and spell your first and last name.
Patricia Lambert, Patricia, Lambert, Lambert.
Good afternoon, Ms. Lambert. Ms. Lambert, are you a foster parent in Henry County?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long have you been a foster parent in Henry County?
Almost 10 years.
And did you go through the process of becoming a foster parent during 10 years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
And what classes, if any, did you have to take?
I have to go through 5 whole classes that we do every Saturday for 30 years.
If you can speak up a little bit.
We do have to go through a 5 whole class.
And do you recall the name of that class?
Impact training.
And is there any other classes or training that you had to have to be a foster parent?
Oh, sure. You have to be consistent, periodically going for training.
And how often do you have to go in for training?
We have to present 15 hours per year.
And in July of 2015, did you have Millie Place and Laila Daniel placed in your home?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you recall who informed you that they would be placed in your home?
Ms. Chinzi Odipo.
And when they were placed in your home, did you pick them up or were they brought to you?
They were brought to me.
Do you recall who brought them to you?
I think it's Samantha White.
At the time that Millie Place and Laila Daniel are given to you, are you given any information in regards to their history or their background?
Not really.
Okay. Is that unusual for DFACS?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
And who was Samantha White at that time?
I think she was the acting caseworker on the case.
At any point, did you get, and who would you normally get the information, I guess, background information on the kids from? Where would that normally come from?
I would ask the question because a lot of time when the kids come into care, the caseworker does not know everything. So as you go along, you would try to find out.
And who would you ask questions to?
The caseworker,
Okay. And did you eventually get some information about Layla and Millie?
a little bit.
And the information that you had, why were Layla and Millie in care?
I was told that the mom was having some problems with drugs.
And do you recall how long did Layla and Millie stay in your home?
They were placed in my home on June 12th, and they were removed on July 24th.
Do you recall who the where they were coming from? Were they coming from their biological parents? Were they coming from foster care or shelter? Did you know where they had been prior to coming into your home?
I was told they was placed in a foster home before.
Okay. And do you know who that foster home, or who ran that foster home? Whose foster home was it?
Well, the name that was given to me was Loretta Brown.
Okay. Did you know Narita Brown at all?
No, ma'am.
Once the girls were placed in your home, did you have any contact or communication with Ms. Brown?
Twice.
And what was the reason for that communication? And let me ask you, how did y'all communicate? Was it in person, over the phone, text messages? How did that communication happen?
Over the phone.
Okay. And did you call her or did she call you?
She was just calling to check on the case because they removed from her home. She was just concerned.
And was she allowed to talk to the girls when she called on those 2 occasions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And why not?
I guess defects had a reason.
Okay.
I didn't know why.
Were you informed whether or not Ms. Brown could have contact with the girls?
After 2 phone calls, it's my duty to report to the caseworker who is calling to talk to them. And once I reported that, they asked to cease communication. So I did.
And you did. Can you describe how, when Layla and Millie came into your home, do you have, I guess, a procedure that you follow when you have kids placed in your home?
I mean, it depends on the age group.
Okay. How old were Millie and Layla when they came to your home?
Millie was 4 and Layla was 2.
Okay. And for kids that age, what would you do when they came into your home?
I mean, you let them be kids.
Okay.
I mean, you clear the room and make sure they have a place to play.
And did you do that for them?
Yes, ma'am.
What was their behavior like when they were staying with you?
Typical 2-year and 4-year-old.
Okay.
Play rough. Grab onto each other, fight for the toys. That's what the 2-year-old do.
When they would be playing rough and fighting over toys, did they ever get injured anyway?
No, ma'am.
Ever have any bruises or broken bones as a result of that playing rough?
No, ma'am.
During the time that the girls were with you, were you able to observe their eating habits?
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me about Millie. How was her eating habits?
She would eat, but not as much as Layla.
So how was Layla's eating habits?
A food junkie. She loves sweet.
So do I. If she was hungry, how would she tell you that she wanted something to eat?
She would say to me, Ma, eat. She would do this to her mouth.
She would take her hand and put it up to your
Yes,
mouth is what
yes,
you're
ma'am.
indicating?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know sign language at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you take that as being a form of sign language for the word eat?
Well, being a typical 2-year-old, they cannot speak properly. So you have to adapt.
During the time that Layla and Millie were in your home, did they ever go to daycare at all?
No, ma'am.
Who would care for them during the time they were with you?
I would.
When they came into your home, did you observe any bruises or injuries on them when they were placed with you on June 12th?
No, ma'am.
And did you have any issues in regards to Millie and telling lies?
Typical 4-year-old. They tell stories to get what they want. But I would not consider that a lie.
And were they receiving any type of counseling when they were in your home?
I do have one counselor came by to check on them both.
Do you recall what that counselor's name was?
Not exactly, but I did remember what I told her.
Okay. What did you tell that counselor?
I just let her know she was questioning the way to get along, the way they interact with each other. And I said, just let her know. Typical 2-year-old, you take her stuff, she would grab it from you. That's what kids do.
Did you tell that counselor that Layla would scratch or bite
Yes, I did.
when she got upset?
Yes, I did.
And when you was describing that, was that your way of describing this typical 2-year-old behavior?
Response.
I'll rephrase. When you were describing her biting and scratching when she would get upset, what type of behavior were you describing?
Just playful. She played with her sister.
And when Layla would bite and scratch, did she ever break the skin, cause enough damage where they would challenge to go to the doctor or the hospital?
No, ma'am.
And you said that the counselor came out. How many times to your home did she come out?
Probably once or twice.
Did you tell her anything about Millie?
Not really, don't.
Do you recall speaking to her about Millie's maturity?
But yeah, in conversation.
And what did you tell her about Millie's maturity?
Sometimes she act grown, or grown up. Little girls like to do that.
And what did you mean by she acted grown?
She would if I could act it out, but she would like put her hands on her side and, just do stuff like that. Just act like it.
Did you mean it in a negative way?
Oh, no, never.
And what about Miss White? Did you have any communication with Miss White during the time that the girls were in your home?
Constantly.
Okay. And how would that communication occur? Was that in person or over the phone or something else?
Well, some in person, some over the phone.
Did she make, when it was in person, where would that be?
At my home or at the office.
About how many times did Miss White come to your home?
Not often.
Would it be more than once?
More than once.
More than 3 times?
Probably about 3.
And when Miss White would come to your home, what would happen?
Well, I would discuss, as I'm telling you right now, I would discuss eating habits, the way they play, how rough they play. Just simple.
Would Miss White do an examination of the girls when she came to visit?
No, Mom. I would do it in front of her.
When you say you would do it, what do you mean?
In training, we was taught if you have children under the age of 5, whenever the caseworker come to visit, their job is to strip them down, make it they cannot talk for themselves, but to explain any injuries they might be having. So we would typically undress them for the diaper up, just so the caseworker could have a look to see if there is any bruises, any breaking of the skin, or anything like that.
And was Miss White doing her job in respect to that?
Not in my opinion.
When the girls were with you, did you have occasion to have to take them to the doctor or hospital or anything?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is the process in regards to doctor's visits?
Doctor visit, you have to have they give you a form to fill out. One of the main things you must have is a placement letter.
And did you have a placement letter for the girls?
Yes, ma'am.
And once you got that placement letter, what did you do with it?
Well, I keep it in a file. I start building a file from there.
Did you ever have to take them to the doctor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you recall when it was and which girl you took to the doctor?
The first child I took to the doctor was Layla, and it was on June 13th.
And what was the reason for that you took Layla to the doctor on June the 13th?
I took her to the doctor because I received a call from Ms. Rosenbaum, who had taken them to spend a day with her, and she called and said that Layla started throwing up, and she couldn't deal with it. So would I come back and get her? So I met her at the McDonald's, right in Henry County here, Heritage Park. Take her and I brought her straight to the hospital because just receiving them the day before, didn't know anything about the history. I didn't know what it was. So to be safe, I took her to the emergency room.
So I want to make sure I understand you. So you received the girls on June the 12th? Mm-hmm. And when was this hospital visit?
June the 13th.
And you indicated Ms. Rosenbaum. Did you know Ms. Rosenbaum at that time?
No, ma'am.
What was the reason that Ms. Rosenbaum had Layla? Did she also have Millie as well?
She had them both, and I was told by the caseworker that she would be the permanent home for the girls. So she would be coming to take them to visit periodically.
And how did, on June the 13th, was there a visitation with Ms. Rosenbaum?
Yes, ma'am.
And how did that come about? How were you informed that there would be a visitation?
From Samantha White.
Okay. And you said that at some point you got a call from Ms. Rosenbaum.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go pick up the children?
Yes, ma'am.
And where did you go at that point?
I took her straight to the emergency room.
And what happened when you got to the emergency room?
Well, the doctor that saw her said that she was...
Your Honor, I object to what the doctor said, that's what he said, and I believe the doctor's going to testify, so.
Well, Your Honor, she would have to give a history as for medical treatment that she was given. But I'll move on.
This is what the doctor said to her. A state objection.
I'll move on.
Okay.
Were you given anything? What happened during that doctor's visit? Not telling me what anybody said.
Okay, she had an examination done. The doctor prescribed that little tiny tablet, can't recall the name, asked me to, if she's continued to throw up, put half of it under her tongue, which is 2 milligrams, so she wouldn't, keep throwing up all the time.
And did you do that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Why not?
Because being a 2-year-old, putting a tiny pill like that, she could swallow it, it could get stuck in the throat. So I just decided to buy her some Pedialyte and to help her from stopping throwing up.
When Layla was with you, did you ever have any issues with her, any medical concerns about her breathing, her holding her breath or gasping for air?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever have any issues with her breaking out in rashes or hives or anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Now, you said that she was having visitations with the Rosenbaums. Did she have visitation with anyone else during the time that she was with you?
Yes, ma'am.
And who was that?
Her great-grandmother, Miss Banks, Peggy Banks.
And how often would Miss Banks visit with them?
Well, she would probably have them one weekend and Jennifer would have them the other.
I'm sorry, you said she would have them one weekend and you kind of trailed off. Who would
I said Miss Rosenbaum would have them the other.
So they would alternate weekends?
Yes, ma'am.
And when they had them, were these overnight stays or were they day visits?
No, ma'am, just day visits.
When the girls would come back from visiting with Miss Banks, what would you do?
Just look at the behavior.
And when you would look at them, what were you looking for?
Any signs of changes.
And did you see any signs of changes when they would come back from visiting with Miss Banks?
Well, maybe we come back with a little attitude, which just suggests children imitate what they see. So,
Yeah, can you make sure you keep your voice up?
sorry. She would come back with a little attitude, and as I said, children imitate what they see.
And would you address that with Millie or with Miss Banks?
Both.
How did you address it?
But I would talk to Millie, and one of the words I often use, I would not tolerate any foolishness. And what I did, I would eventually meet Miss Banks in person, have a conversation with her to find out, what is she doing when the kids is over there.
And when you talked with Miss Banks, did the behavior stop?
He did.
And when Miss Banks would have her visitations, who would she be visiting with?
Sometimes she would bring, I think it's her sister with her, because she only used to be taking up Millie. And then, I just had a conversation. I said, listen, there's both of your grandkids. If you can't have one, you can't have the other. So she started taking both.
Did she give you any explanation as to why she was only getting Millie?
Yes, ma'am.
And what explanation did she give you?
Because of her condition, she was walking with a stick, so she couldn't manage both at the same time.
Did she ever tell you anything about not liking Layla?
Never.
Did she tell you anything about Layla being a drug baby?
No.
And you said Millie would come back with a little attitude. Was there anything else that you would be looking for or checking for when the girls came back from visits with Miss Banks?
Obviously. Any bruises, any unusual marks she didn't live with?
And did you find any of those when she came back from her visits?
No, ma'am.
And you said that with the Rosenbaums, did you ever meet Joseph Rosenbaum?
Twice.
Okay. And where did you meet Mr. Rosenbaum?
At my home.
And did you have any conversation with him?
Just, yeah.
And what did you discuss with Joseph Rosenbaum?
One of the questions was asking him, are you ready for fatherhood? And he was saying, that he worked long hours, he comes home late. So most of the time, Miss Rosenbaum would be the one being with the kids.
And did you have a conversation with Ms. Rosenbaum about the girls at all?
Yeah, we talk as regular.
And what was your conversation with her about the girls when you would speak with her?
Well, since that she would be the one who would be caring for them permanently, one of the things I try to do is kind of really discuss, little behaviors, things that they like, things they would do. That's one of the main thing.
Did you ever have a conversation about her relationship with Tessa Daniel?
No, ma'am, I didn't know who was Tessa.
Did you ever give Ms. Rosenbaum or tell her or Joseph Rosenbaum by any means any information about the girls' background with their biological parents?
That I would not know.
So would it be fair to say you didn't have any information to give?
Yes, ma'am, none at all.
Did you ever have any conversation with Jennifer Rosenbaum in regards to Peggy Banks?
Yes, we did, on many occasions.
And what did Jennifer Rosenbaum tell you about Peggy Banks?
She was one of the person who related to me that Miss Banks did not want to have anything to do with Layla.
That was told to you by Jennifer Rosenbaum?
Yes, ma'am.
What else did she tell you about Miss Banks?
She didn't like black people. She did not like black people. Yes.
And did she tell you where that information came from?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever address that with Miss Banks?
Sure I did.
What did you? How did you address it with Miss Banks?
I just met her one of the days when she came to pick me up. I let her know. I said, listen, I do what I do because I love doing what I do. And I don't care if the child is green, pink, yellow, purple. I don't see color. I'm here to help.
And what was Miss Banks' response?
She was very remorseful. She said to me that she never, ever, ever mentioned anything like that to Jennifer.
And you said that, was there any other visits after that June 13th visit with the Rosenbaums?
Yes, ma'am.
And when did that next visit occur?
Probably like the following week.
Let me ask you something. When a kid comes into your home, do you do anything to memorialize it or document it?
Oh, sure.
What do you do?
Well, first of all, the placement letter is the first thing placed in the file. Anything after that, any bruises, doctor visits, anything. Make 2 copies, one for the caseworker and one to keep in my personal file.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as States 118 and previously shown to Defense Counsel. Do you recognize States Exhibit 118?
Yes, ma'am.
And how are you able to recognize it?
It's my handwriting.
And where is that from?
That's from my home. That notes that document while Layla and Millie was in my home.
Have you had an opportunity to look over that States Exhibit number 118?
Yes, ma'am.
Have there been any additions or deletions made to it?
No, ma'am.
The state would ask the States Exhibit 118 be entered into evidence. Would that assist you in regards to dates when the girls were having visitations with the Rosenbaums?
Yeah, but I don't need it.
Okay, I'll leave it there just in case. When was the next visit after June the 13th that the girls had a visit?
It's been weekly after that, every weekend.
And what date would that have been, the next visit?
Probably like a week prior.
So if it was the 13th, it was a week later?
Yes, ma'am.
If you can look, did you date that at all in your journal?
I didn't date the every weekend dates. What I do date is when stuff's that happened.
Or when there was stuff that was happening?
Yes, ma'am.
You would document it?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there anything that occurred after that second visit with the Rosenbaums?
Yes, ma'am.
What occurred?
Layla came back to the house with a bruise under her eyes.
And what did you do when you observed that bruise?
I questioned Ms. Rosenbaum about it.
And what was her response?
She said that Layla was playing at a park, a waterfall, and she took a toy from another child, and the child hit her with it.
What did you do after getting that information from Ms. Rosenbaum?
I let it be. The stuff happens when kids play.
Did you notate that in your journal?
Not at that time.
Okay. And in regards to Layla's eye, did you do anything?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do?
I would put an ointment, to sure everyone know, A&D ointment, to heal the little scar that was under there.
And did it heal that scar?
Yes, ma'am.
And then when was the next visit that the Rosenbaums had with the girls?
Next weekend.
And when the girls came back, what did you do, if anything?
As usual, the same thing. Look for any marks, any unusual bruises. I just do it all the time.
And at that time, did you observe any bruises or marks?
Not at the second time, no.
Not on that visit?
Not on that visit.
That mark that you talked about that was under Layla's eye after that second visit, was it still present when they came back that following week?
Still present, but look a little better.
And then the next visit that they had with the Rosenbaums, do you recall when that was?
Yes, ma'am.
When was that?
Following week.
And did you continue with the same process and routine that you normally did?
Yes, ma'am.
And when they came back that following week, did you have any concerns?
Yes, ma'am.
And what were those concerns?
The concerns this time was with both kids.
Okay.
The bruises was actually back, but very irritated. It was fresh and red.
Did you discuss that? And when you got the kids back, who would drop them off?
Miss Rosenbaum?
Did you talk to Ms. Rosenbaum about the injuries that you saw after this third visit?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did she tell you, if anything?
She said if defects think that they would place kids in my home and do not get any bruises, then they have another thing coming.
Let me show you what's been marked as State's Exhibits 119, 120, and 121. If you could look at States 119, 120, and 121, do you recognize those?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know, are those photographs of the girls?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
Did you take those photographs?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Where were those photographs taken?
At the defects office?
Do they depict what you observed when the girls came back from being on a visit with the Rosenbaums?
Yes.
I'd ask the States 119, 120, and 121 be admitted into evidence. If I could get the lights.
Yes.
And I'm showing what's marked as State's Exhibit 121, and there should be the corner up here. Can you tell us what we're looking at in State's Exhibit 121?
The bruise of...
If you can point out where you observed the bruise. And watch your step, please. Okay. And States number 120. Which one of the girls are we looking at in States 121 and 120?
This is Millie's Day.
Okay. And if you can keep your voice up.
Millie's Day.
Where do you see a bruise at on those photographs? And when you say right here, what part of the body is that?
It's on the leg.
Okay.
I help heal parts. I'm one of them close to the knee area.
Okay. And States number 119, who's that we're looking at?
That's Layla.
And where's the bruise that you observed on Layla?
Right here.
Okay. And that's different from the bruise from the previous visit?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Besides Ms. Rosenbaum indicating that if defects didn't expect for her to have kids and they come back with bruises, did she give you any explanation as to how those injuries occurred?
Well, her excuse was they're always playing. So that's the only thing I would hear from her.
Did the girls continue to have visitations with the Rosenbaums?
Yes, ma'am.
In regards to these bruises, those photographs, you said they were taken at defects?
Yes, ma'am.
Who took those photographs?
A caseworker by the name of Maeda Macadam,
And how did Miss Maeda Macadam come to take photographs of those injuries?
because I brought them in there.
Why did you take the girls into defects? Oh, I'm sorry, the lights can be turned back.
It's defects policy that if a child get any bruises, whether in your home or with someone else, defects has to know.
So let me ask you, if a child fell down some stairs, is that something that you should be reporting to defects?
Sure.
If a child fell off a ladder, is that something you should report to defects?
Most definitely.
If a child fell off a bike, is that something you should be reporting to defects?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you, in regards to the defects policy, what's their policy as far as discipline?
We do know we cannot touch. We cannot touch them, period. Now, a timeout will be fine.
After going to defects, what did you tell defects? Was it Ms. Warner that you spoke to, or Ms. Macedon?
I spoke to Ms. Macedon. She was the only one I could get at the time.
Did you try to reach anyone else?
I did.
Who did you try to reach?
I tried to reach both the caseworker and her supervisor, which is Ms. Warner.
Okay. And the caseworker was who?
Samantha White?
Were you able to reach Ms. White at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Were you able to reach Ms. Warner?
No, ma'am.
When you weren't able to reach them, what did you do?
I show up at the office.
And is that when you talked with Ms. Macedon?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you tell Ms. Macedon at that time?
I let her know this is an ongoing thing that's been happening, so somebody needs to do something. Take some pictures and try to get it investigated.
Did you have any concerns about the girls coming back with injuries?
That's why I took them to the office, because of my concerns.
What was your concern?
To me, if you have taken a class in training, you would definitely know that having a child in your home that does not belong to you, you gotta have eyes all around your head and the back, sides, everywhere, because they're little kids, so they get into stuff very easily.
Did you ever tell anyone that you thought that the Rosenbaums were abusing the girls?
No, that's not my place to say.
Did the visits continue after your visit with Ms. Macedon at defects?
Yes, ma'am.
When was the next visit that the girls had with the Rosenbaum?
Following week again, it continues.
So at this time, is Ms. Peggy Banks having visitations with the girls?
Limited, very limited.
And when would that occur if it wasn't on the weekends?
Probably she would just take them during for a day, but not on the weekends anymore.
And when they would come back from those day visits, did you notice any of these bruises or injuries or notated anywhere in your journal?
No, ma'am.
At any point, did Ms. White come out to your home?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall what day that was?
Can't recall what day, but I remember what the conversation was.
What do you recall that conversation being?
The conversation was that the kids went for a weekend visit, and Layla came back with 3 distinct marks inside of her arm, and that bothers me a lot. So I asked Ms. White to get her to the house immediately.
You asked her to come to your house immediately?
Yes, ma'am.
And did she in fact come?
Yes, she did.
And what happened when Ms. White came to your home?
Well, I discussed that with her, with the marks in her arms. I also discussed all the excess bruises that had been happening before that, and she assured me that the visit would stop.
The visits with who would stop?
The visit with Ms. Rosenbaum will stop.
And I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 122. Do you recognize that?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that?
That's more like water plugs, if you know what it
Is it a photograph?
Water,
Who's it a photograph of?
that's Layla's palm.
Okay. I'd ask the State's Exhibit 122 be admitted into evidence.
Admitted.
And I close the corner. Can you show us what you were describing and talking about in State's Exhibit 122?
I don't know if you can see, but this is the one of the map. You can see like all the area. Never the fingers, but it's all in the palm. Right here, right here. And these are the-
And make sure you keep your voice up. You can have a seat. What did those marks look like that were in Layla's palm?
That looked like a like a fork that you eat with, was sticking in hands like this.
Did you discuss that with Ms. Rosenbaum, that injury that you saw to Layla's palm? And the lights can go back on.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And what did she say to you, if anything?
At this time, she didn't give me an answer.
She didn't give you an answer?
No, ma'am.
You said you spoke with Ms. White, and she indicated that the visits would stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Did the visit stop at that point?
Instead, what happened, the kids have been removed from my home the following week.
In between the time that you observed that photograph and called Ms. White and July 24th, were there ever any visitations with the Rosenbaums?
No, no, ma'am.
Do you recall the Rosenbaums giving a party for Layla at all?
If they did it at their home, not that I know of.
Okay. And you said on July 24th, that's when the girls were removed.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any more communication at all with the girls once they were removed from your home?
Once the girl was removed from my home, the only time that I did see Millie, it was at a Walmart. And that's like 2 months after.
I'm going to back up just a little bit. When the girls were removed from your home on July the 24th, what did you do, if anything?
I asked the judge to send me a letter stating why he's removing them.
Why did you want a letter from the judge stating why the girls were being removed?
Well, I mean, after all that I've reported, I needed to know why they were moving them.
At the time that the girls were removed from your home, was that mark still in Layla's palm?
Yes, ma'am.
Did they have any other injuries on them when they were removed on July 24th?
No, ma'am. And one of the things that I do as a foster parent, anytime a child been removed from my home, I would have the caseworker present and I would have the child stripped to make sure that they're living without any marks, period.
And did you do that with
Yes,
Millie and Layla?
Yes, ma'am, in the presence of Mr. and Mrs. Rosenbaum and the caseworker.
And were there any marks? And you said the next time you saw the girls was about 2 or 3 months later?
Well, not them both, just one.
Okay, and where was that?
At a Walmart.
And who did you see? Which one of
Millie.
the girls? Millie. And who was Millie with?
Miss Rosenbaum.
And how did Millie look when you saw her?
I so happened to just step in the door, and I see these two little hands running, wide open and running, and she just jumped on me. When she jumped on me, I just put my arms around her, and she took her face and she buried it into my neck. And she had like 2 or 3 layers of clothes on, and it was hot. Oh, she looked pale, her eyes was dark, and I said, "Are you okay? What happened?" And she would just stare at me, and her eyes would fill up with water. And Miss Jennifer started walking towards me, and she would just look at me, didn't say anything.
Did you talk to Jennifer Rosenbaum that day?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you say to her?
I asked her, what's going on with Millie? And she said, well, she's sick. So I said, well, if she's sick, why are you not taking her to a doctor? She said, well, I'll just come and get some medication here at Walmart. And in the moment talking about that, she changed the conversation to them going on a vacation. And that was it.
That was the end of that conversation?
Yes, ma'am.
When was the next time that you saw them, if you did?
Never.
Okay. At some point, were you informed about the death of Layla?
Yes, ma'am.
How were you informed?
By a caseworker.
When you got that information, what, if anything, did you do?
No. I don't know.
Did you go to the services for Layla?
No, ma'am.
Did you see Layla after she passed?
Yes, ma'am.
And when was that?
I went to view her body at the funeral home.
And when you viewed Layla's body, did she appear to look the same as she did when she left her home on July 24th?
She is a completely different baby in that box.
What was completely different about her?
Everything.
If you can describe it.
Skinny, barely have any hair. She looked like a baby that's in the womb. Like when you do an ultrasound, she just like a little frail little baby.
Did you ever see Millie again after Layla died?
I did see her viewing on the body.
Okay. Did Millie ever come back to your home after Layla died?
Yes, ma'am.
When was that?
She came back the day after the death, like one day after.
What happened when Millie came back to your house after Layla died?
Well, I got a call from a caseworker asking that Millie been placed back in my home because I was somebody that she's familiar with. so they just wanted to be back with me. But when I went to the office to pick her up, her back was so covered in black and blue bruises. I took her straight to the doctor's office.
Which doctor did you take her to?
She goes to a doctor in Starbridge.
Do you recall that doctor's name?
No, ma'am, but he should be in the medical files. But that's the doctor, the pediatrician, they take them both to.
And I'm showing you what's been already introduced into evidence, case number 80. Are those the bruises that you were speaking of on Millie?
Yes, ma'am.
And why did you take Millie to the doctor?
Like I normally do. If there is something unusual on the skin, one of the first things you do, have the doctor examine them first.
Did you ask Millie how those bruises occurred?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did she tell you?
She said that Mr. Rosenbaum beat her on the back.
Did she tell you anything else about those bruises on her?
And I mean, in a situation like that, and being a mom, there was so much you could question a baby, so I didn't put any pressure.
Did you ever talk to Millie about what happened to Layla while she was in the home with the Rosenbaums?
You didn't have to ask her, she would just tell you.
Did she tell you anything about how Layla was treated when she was there with the defendants?
Well, one of the things Millie always do when she comes from by Jennifer, she would put on this act. She would have a belt, and she would, act like a junk man, just doing this. Like, so what are you doing? She said, I'm being Miss Jennifer. I'm junk. See, so that's, and then she said, well, Miss Jennifer drink, she would pull Layla down the stairs by her arm.
Did she tell you anything else that Jennifer Rosenbaum or Joseph Rosenbaum would do to Layla?
No, I didn't want to be the one to pry asking her. I wanted her to talk herself.
So did you ask her any more questions?
No, ma'am.
Well, I said more. Did you ever ask her a question to get that information?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
After Millie told you about those incidents, what did you do?
What could I do? Than to just, just comfort her.
Did you ever tell anyone about what Millie had told you about what happened with her in the Rosenbaum's house and what happened with Layla?
No, the only person I really talked to was the detective.
How did you end up talking to the detective?
They came to my house.
Let me ask you, did you ever inform defects of what Millie had said to you?
I did let Miss White know.
Was it Miss White that you told her, are you sure?
Actually, I spoke to Miss Charles first, which is the administrator.
No. Do you recall when it was that the detective came out to your house?
They came out, well, actually, the first person that came is Miss King. She came the day after I got received the news. And then, like, the day after that, we have 3 detectives, 2 male and a female. And then, like, a week after, I have 2 more come out. And I was just taking the notes and just questioning Millie.
Okay. Now I just want to back up just a little bit. How long after Layla's death was it that Millie came to stay with you?
Probably like 2-3 weeks.
Do you know where Millie was in between the time that Layla died and coming to your home?
No, ma'am. I picked her up at the defects office, so I didn't know.
And how long after she came to your home did she tell you about being beat by Joseph Rosenbaum and Layla being dragged down the stairs by Jennifer Rosenbaum?
The same day.
The same day.
Mm-hmm.
Had she had any visits or conversations to your knowledge, while at your house, with any of her family members?
She did.
And did you have opportunity to hear those conversations?
I do, listening.
Did you hear anyone tell Millie those things
No,
that she
ma'am.
said to you?
No, ma'am.
Who was it that she was talking with when she was in your home?
Her mom.
What about Miss Peggy Banks?
She do talk to Miss Banks too.
Did you ever hear Miss Peggy Banks tell Millie certain things to say about what happened to her in the Rosenbaum's home?
No, ma'am.
And you said the detectives came out to your house.
Yes, ma'am.
When they came out to your house, did they speak to you?
Yes, they did.
Did they speak to Millie?
Yes, they did.
And do you remember when that was?
It was like 2 weeks after death, within that time frame.
Were you present during the time that they were speaking with Millie?
No, ma'am. I would walk away so she could be comfortable. So I just let them talk.
Did you hear anything that Millie was saying to the detectives?
No, I just give them their own little time.
Is there anyone else that lives in your home with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who else lives in your home?
My husband and my 4 kids.
And is one of your kids Kaya Lambert?
Yes, ma'am.
And did Kaya talk with Millie?
All the time.
And to your knowledge, did Millie tell Kaya anything about what happened to her?
She did.
And was Kaya present when the detectives came to talk to Millie?
That's the only how Millie going to talk to the detective. The Kai has to sit beside her.
And did that happen when the detectives were there?
Yes, ma'am.
During the time that Millie was in your home, did she see a counselor or have counseling?
One time.
Do you remember who that was?
No, ma'am. It's a lady, but I can't remember her name.
Did that counseling happen at your house or somewhere else?
Not at my house.
And did Millie still have a caseworker at this time?
Actually, no, because so many people was involved at that time. She did not have a specific caseworker.
Do you recall someone by the name of Brandy Willis?
Yes, ma'am.
And who is Brandy Willis?
She is the one who took up after Samantha White left.
And did Miss Willis make any visits to your home?
Yes, ma'am.
About how many?
I mean, she do her usual visit. They have to come out once a month. Mm-hmm.
And when she would come to your home, what would happen during those visits?
You know, just talk about what Millie is telling me after her sister died and how she would be calling for her sister every night. So, and I would just explain to her, I would comfort her and let her know that the sister is in heaven looking at her. So just be happy for her.
Did you notice any behavioral changes in Millie when she came back to your house after being with the Rosenbaums?
Millie was more sad than anything else. She don't have time to.
No, I suggested her putting words in Millie's mouth. It's hearsay whether she has time or not. That's
Is this demeanor?
Yes, I asked her, did she notice any changes in Millie's behavior when she returned to her house?
Overruled.
You can answer.
No, I was saying Millie was always sad. All she asked for is a sister.
Was there anyone else, you said the counselor came out, was there any visits with family during the time that Millie was back in your home?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was visiting?
Her mom.
And where would those visits take place?
At the defects office.
Would you be present for those visits?
No, ma'am.
To your knowledge, were those visits supervised or unsupervised?
Any visit that takes place at the defects office have to be supervised.
When Millie was at home with you, would she, what about Miss Peggy Banks? Would she have any visits with Millie during this time that she was in your home?
If she does, it will be at the defects office.
What about during the time Millie was at your home, would she ever talk to any of her family members while she was with you?
After the death, yes. Yes, ma'am.
And what family members was she talking to?
She would talk to Miss Banks, her mom, and I think it's her stepdad.
And where would those phone conversations, how would those phone conversations take place?
Well, what I do, knowing me, I always keep a chart. I would document time of call, who called. I would sit right there and listen to the conversation.
And you would listen to the conversation?
Yes, ma'am. Put it on speaker.
When those calls were on speakerphone call, did they ever discuss Layla and Layla's death?
Yeah, they did.
Did you ever hear anyone make suggestions to Millie about what happened when she and Layla were living with the defendants?
No, ma'am, never, not once.
How long did Millie stay in your home after coming back after November the 17th of 2015?
Probably like a month, or probably less.
And at some point, did she leave your home?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did she end up leaving your home?
Well, they said they was transferring her to Clayton County.
During that period of time, did you make any complaints to DFACS about family members or interference in your home while Millie was there for that period of time?
Well, one of the things I was concerned about is that while speaking to her mom, I guess her mom wanted her to have a cell phone. And in my home, we don't allow young kids like that to have independent phones. So that was my concern.
During that month's period of time that Millie was with you, did you ever take her to the doctor's office?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that? Why did you take her to the doctor's office?
I took her to the doctor's office because of that same bruises on her back. And I wanted the doctor to make observation and have him give me back something stating what he saw.
Was there ever a time that you had some concerns about Millie's eyes?
She had some allergies.
And tell me about what was going on regarding her allergies.
When the allergies started bothering her, she would take her hand and she would, rub, rough. And being here so soft, it get kind of dark. So that's what created the darkness under her eyes. So.
Did you discuss that, the darkness under her eyes, with anyone, DFACS or a doctor or anyone?
I did discuss it with DFACS.
And what happened in regards to Millie having that darkness under her eyes?
Well, around like 10:30 at night, what do they call it? CPS investigator showed up at my home And she said that the mom had made a complaint that Millie had black eyes. So one of the things they wanted to do was to take her to the Eggleston, which they did. And they brought her back like around 3 in the morning. And all the finding was just allergies. There was no punch, there was no bruises, nothing.
How much time passed between that issue where she had to go to the doctors at, I'm assuming at 10:30 at night, and Millie being removed from your home?
She'd been removed probably like a day or two after.
How did you feel about that whole situation?
It hurts that the mom accused, but me being a mom myself, I would understand. She just had a baby die, any little thing would freak her out, so I would understand. I didn't hold her accountable for doing that.
Nothing further at this time.
Cross.
Good afternoon, Ms. Lambert. My name's Corinne Mull.
Good afternoon.
I've got some questions to ask you. First of all, have you watched any of the coverage on TV?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you haven't watched any of what's been going on in this courtroom for the past week?
No, ma'am.
You haven't watched any television about news reports?
I watch television, but not about that news report.
So what did you do when that came on the news?
I did not see that on the news.
You didn't see it on the news?
I did not see it.
But you watched the news?
Of course I did.
You read papers?
No, ma'am.
I'd like to the exhibit that the state showed you. So, just to be clear, let me ask you to take a look at make sure that I'm talking about the same thing. Is this your first notations about when the children came to your custody?
Yes, ma'am.
Is
Yes,
that
ma'am.
June 11th, 2015?
June 12th.
June 12th. Okay, so when it says June 11th up there, that's wrong. Is this your writing?
That's not writing.
Okay, did you write June 11th?
I did write June 11th, but when the caseworker give you a letter, that's the date they wrote the letter.
Okay, so
June 12th.
here is not accurate.
This is accurate. The letter that they received from the caseworker, they made it out on June 12th.
Okay, but I am
So-
asking you, on June 11th, 2015, did the caseworker, Miss Samantha White, place kids in my home? Did that occur?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it did.
On June 11th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, you went from June 11th, and the next time she took them was 6/13, is that correct?
June 13th.
June 13th?
That's when Ms. Rosenbaum took them for the first time.
Okay, and you said there that she came back with scratches and pinches on her left leg and a large bruise under her eye, correct?
Yes, it
And
did.
you say, I took her to, and that would be the next page, right? I took her to, did you write where you took her to?
You was the one asking the questions.
Yes, and I did ask you a question.
Repeat it.
Did you take her anywhere?
Took her to the emergency room on June 13th.
June 13th, you took her to the emergency room. What emergency room did you take her to? What hospital?
Children had care.
Showa. So she went to
Stockbridge.
Stockbridge? Showa at Stockbridge? And when did you take her? If Miss Jennifer took the girls on Saturday the 13th, when did you take the children to the hospital?
Jennifer took the children June 13th. Layla got sick. She called me within an hour or half an hour and said that she was throwing up. She couldn't deal with it. What I did do took her to the emergency room the same day. Not knowing the history, that was the right thing to do because I didn't know what was creating the vomiting.
They said it was viral, correct? The vomit.
Objection, Your Honor, calls me.
You have the file.
It doesn't call for hearsay. I'm asking her present intention, her known, excuse me, ma'am. I will rephrase. June 13th, you got some pills, you didn't use them, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What were the pills given to you for?
It was given to me to place under her tongue.
Okay. Now, the next thing you write about in your journal is Saturday, and if you take a look and confirm with me, Saturday, the what? What do you have written there?
Where?
Again on Saturday.
Okay, I see right there.
And what does that say? Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
Okay, so that happened the weekend, the following weekend, Saturday and Sunday, Sunday and Saturday.
Okay, and what date is it that you take it? What does 20921 stand for?
This right here, 20th, 21st.
20th, 21st of September. What's the 9 for?
Where is the 9?
In the middle, between 20 and 29. What is it?
That's N.
And 20th and 21st.
Yes,
So 20th, 21st of June.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And she picked them up again, and they came back with bruises on her right ankle and a bruise on her knee.
Mm-hmm.
Layla had scratches and pinch on her left leg and a large bruise under her eyes. I took her to, where did you take her to?
The defense office.
Okay.
I can explain myself.
Certainly.
The way this is documented, this only document as stuff occurred. So if you're looking for a pardon for every single time, I only document when stuff occurred.
Okay, I understand that. Now, when you finish writing on June 11th, you go to the next page. I'm asking you, do you write on the back of the pages or do you go to the next page?
Ma'am, when I'm documenting, I will write what's available at the time incident occurred.
Okay, so let's take a look at from June 13th. The next day we have is June 21, correct? If we're going in order of time, the next time is June 21.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you squeezed in here June 28th, right?
Yes, ma'am.
On top of the June 21.
That's on the end, that's on the middle.
And the next page of Exhibit 118 is Jennifer picking them up on June 27th, correct?
Yes, that's what's there.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you talk on June 27th all the way through the page, and then you turn the page and you continue to write, correct? And we went on to 7/9/15, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
June 28th is stuck here behind June 21, correct? Did you write that after June 28th?
I will repeat myself. I write the incidents as it occurred.
So
I don't have a pattern going like dates. If it occurred on a certain date, I will just get the paper, write it down.
So on June 28th, you got the paper where you wrote June 21st, and you wrote in front of June 21st, you wrote June 28th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you have had occasion to talk to the police,
Yes, ma'am.
and you told the police everything you told us here, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, the police came out to your house, correct, on December 2nd, 2015.
Possibility?
And you told him on December 2nd, 2015, everything there was to know,
What I could remember.
what you could remember.
Yes, ma'am.
And you never told the detective that Joseph Rosenbaum kicked or beat Millie, did you?
I never ever once used the word kicked.
Beat.
Yes,
Okay, you didn't tell the police that, did you?
they didn't ask that.
Okay, they didn't ask
answer
that.
what they asked.
Okay. But it's fair to say you didn't volunteer to them that Millie, excuse me, let me finish my question. When Millie Place came to you, she told you that Joseph Rosenbaum beat her her hip bone area,
Not a hip bone, her back.
her back. You didn't tell that to the police.
As I said, I didn't ask.
Okay, but my question is not whether they asked or not. My question is, did you tell?
It wasn't my job to tell if they didn't ask.
My question is, did you tell them that
No.
Millie had said that?
No.
Now, you have said that you documented and took pictures, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, where are the pictures of you, of the girls, when they were in your house?
You would ask to one of the detectives that I had a video camera. They took that away from me, never see it again.
Okay, so there should be video.
Well, not video. I use a video camera to take a picture of her back.
Okay,
That's
so
what I did.
that should be with the detectives.
Should be.
Okay, now, otherwise, these folks don't have any of your pictures, do they?
I wouldn't know that, ma'am.
You don't know.
No, ma'am.
Now,